Hi, and welcome to part 3 of a 3-part recorded webinar from eBECS, the lean thought leader in Microsoft Dynamics AX. Bill Battershell is the CFO of Rochester Gauges in Dallas, Texas. Bill will be telling the story of how Rochester Gauges started its lean journey under Brad Hoffman, the former company COO, a journey which then continued under Bill. Rochester Gauges realized great improvements in processes that resulted in higher profitability and competitiveness. We will be following up each segment of Bill's story with a short demonstration of how eBECS and Dynamics AX supported the lean processes that resulted from the lean transformation in that segment. I'm Mike Call, General Manager for eBECS North America. eBECS deploys Lean ERP with a team of lean thinking consultants. If you're on a similar journey to that of Rochester Gauges and want to support that journey with Dynamics AX, please contact me at either the phone number or the email address on the screen. We can also help you get started with your lean journey. Thank you, and please enjoy this segment of the Rochester Gauges Lean Journey story.
One of the other major benefits that we got out of going to this software and redesigning our warehousing operation was it used to take us up to 9 days to pick the parts to get them to the line. You can imagine the amount of confusion that would cause by having to schedule the line at least 9 days out in order to get the parts over to it. That obviously was not going to work in a lean environment. And so we had to think of a way of how we could get that picking time from 9 days down to something that would more support the lines. And we went through several ways of doing that. First of all, you have to set your Kanbans up out on the lines. So the parts that you use on a regular basis need to be scheduled right there in a two-bin system on the line. And that's what we did. We went to a two-bin system. So the pickers then only have to pick the unusual items that are coming out to the lines in order to be able to support the lines. And so that's what we did. And then we brought water spiders or material handlers into the situation to where when the item is picked in the warehouse, the water spider or the material delivery person has a route that he goes on. He goes on that route every hour, and he delivers to the line what they need as indicated coming out of AX. What are the products or what are the raw materials or sub-assemblies that they need, and delivers those non-Kanban ones to the line on an hourly basis. This hugely improved our process of being able to schedule our manufacturing floor, because now we can rely on when we have something scheduled. As Charlotte just showed you, we have the parts on the floor, they've been picked in time, and they're on the floor ready to be manufactured. When we set this up, we set a two-day time frame for those parts. So the warehouse people have 2 days to get those parts to the line before the line triggers the final assembly. As we smooth this out and get better at it, those 2 days will go down to the day before, and we'll pick those parts and deliver them to the line. And what the software allows us to do is know what parts, when to pick them, when they need to go to the line, and it's just a huge improvement. Our 9 days are down to about an hour. As we go live on AX, we will get that hour down to about 20 minutes. So where it used to take us 9 days to pick an order, we'll pick that order in 20 minutes or less. Okay.
So in AX 2012, what we use to get this material to the line, again, are called withdrawal Kanbans. And withdrawal Kanbans, basically the process for replenishing these are the same no matter what your replenishment strategy is. So whether it's a fixed Kanban like the two-bin system that Bill has that's supplying his line for common parts, or whether it's those stranger components that are needed for a unique assembly that's being made, the signals occur in AX either off of an event or the empty of a bin. They present themselves on what's called the Kanban transfer board. In Rochester's scenario, what they would then do is use the board and the different filters on the board to plan their milk run. So for example, if I know I'm going to go replenish cell 1, I could filter by cell 1, get all the material that I need to deliver to them. I could print some tickets if I want to, but then I go ahead and I move it where it needs to be moved. So it's a pretty flexible tool, and I'm going to take you through an example in AX now. Okay. All I'm doing here is I'm going to put in a couple more sales orders to get a little more realistic scenario. Good deal. Okay. So in AX, I'm going to open up the Kanban board for transfer jobs. It plays nicely. So again, as those signals, either emptying of bins that are common components that are stored at the line side, or if they're stranger components that are just made to order, they show up on this Kanban board for transfer jobs, and that's what you see. One of the things that we did at Rochester was, and Bill kind of alluded to this, they tried to figure out how to increase the speed of delivery of their materials, their raw materials to the line. And what we did was we classified their components into runners, repeaters, and strangers. And the runners and the repeaters we put on 2-bin systems, 3-bin systems in AX. So what you see as a 2-bin and a 3-bin system is this LE common component 2. And it's a 2-bin, actually it's a 3-bin system with 10 pieces in each bin. And I can see that 2 of those bins are empty. And if I take a look at my board over here, one of those bins is full. And what happens in this scenario is literally the line side would scan a ticket, a physical ticket that's sitting on a bin, or even just a barcode on the bin to designate that that bin is empty. And it would send a signal, just as you see here, for the stockroom or the material handlers to replenish that signal. And as Bill said, these are what gets transacted first throughout the day, so that we've got enough stock sitting on the line side that the material handlers are dealing with the stranger components. So a stranger component is this LE component 1, and you can really see that you can tell the difference here because the quantities are for the unique quantities of that job. So again, this is an event Kanban. It is not a fixed quantity Kanban, and the event that actually triggered this was that original sales order that we entered. So it trickled all the way through the BOM, found all the stranger components that are needed to bring to the cell, and it sent a signal right here to the stockroom to bring those components to the line side. And when I talked about milk runs, one of the possibilities you have in AX are to use your filtering options up here. So what I'm filtered on is really from the stockroom to a line side. So you could think and imagine of all your work cells and all the line side warehouses you have, and you could use this screen to filter by the runs that you're about to do. So I'm only going to replenish my assembly work cell, but I could expand this and I could maybe take it to 3 or 4 work cells. It just depends on how you want to plan your work. I could come here and I could make sure I've got all the material I need, and what you'll see as I start to highlight my Kanbans is that my picking list is actually growing in the bottom pane, and I can take a look and make sure I have enough material to replenish all these signals in the stockroom, and I do because I have a pretty green checkbox. If I didn't have material, I'd have an ugly red X. So I can see I have enough of the material that I need. I could do some things like print Kanban tickets, print paperwork to go and pull the material. But the simplest thing, whoops, but if we started to process these in AX, I could come here and I could start the transfer, and it's literally started. If you looked at any of your boards, you'd see that the material has been picked out of the stockroom, and then once I deliver it, I could complete that material. And what that's done in AX in this example is it's filled a bin, It's moved the material in AX in the on-hand screen to the line side, and the world is good. The same exact process goes for my stranger component, my LE component 1. I need 7. I go pick 7. I could start, and I could complete. And as soon as I can complete that, that work cell sees that the status of their material is complete. It's been replenished. It should be sitting right there to make that feeder cell. So I hope I gave you a little bit of a view as to the tools to manage a lot of these movements. And this is one of the, again, like Bill said, one of the most important pieces of this is to obviously get the material in a timely fashion to the work cell to go ahead and make it. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and we will open it back up to questions. And Bill, if you have any comments, go for it.
You can ask Bill any question.
Let me make a comment while we're waiting to see if some questions come in. And that comment is, as I mentioned, over the course of my career, I have put in probably every major software package in a variety of companies. Mapex, BPix, Lawson, J.D. Edwards, SAP. There's probably not one out there that I haven't put in. Right now, we're in the process of bringing AX12 up. So we've been out testing it and running it through our conference room pilot, and we'll come up live within the next 60 days. I was asked at a conference not very long ago how I would go about selecting a software package. And here was my answer, and I truly believe this. If you are a manufacturing company, I can't speak to retail because I've never worked in retail, but if you are a manufacturing company and you're starting to put the basis of Lean into your company and you want a software package that will support that, AX is the only company out there, and I wouldn't even go through an evaluation. I would just bring them up. Because the frustrating part that I have had over my career is having software packages that don't support Lean, and you're spending all of your time trying to get the packages to work correctly, and they never will. So a very strong endorsement. Microsoft has done a fabulous job of understanding what Lean is and incorporating it directly into their mainline package.
Okay, great. Well, let's move to the next slide then, Charlotte. The idea is that eBECS, the partner, is able to have these kinds of conversations with you around your manufacturing processes as you transition from, let's call it traditional manufacturing and the push process to more of a lean pull process. People like Charlotte, our consultants, have the ability to have those conversations with you, so they're not just deploying software, they add a whole lot more value than that. And so we can actually help to coach you a little bit on incremental change, because every one of our customers is moving. They're a moving target. We're not putting something in that stays static very long, but they're moving items from, being manufactured on, like I mentioned, more of a traditional, push kind of process. They're moving those items toward a lean pull process, and so that happens all the time. And so not only do we come in and help you with this, deploy the software, but we're also working with you to, dialogue through how to make that happen. So those are some of the things that we can do to help. So like I mentioned, next step, if you're interested, and I'll circle back with each of you, will be, if you'd like, we'd do a conference call discovery where we'd sit down, and it takes about 60 minutes or so with your Lean team. And what we're looking to do is to find out where you are in your journey, see how much transformation you've gone through, see what kind of processes have resulted on the manufacturing floor that need to be supported, that probably will not be supported by traditional ERP. And then what we would do from there would be, if you'd want, we'd come back and do a one-to-one demonstration where Charlotte or somebody like Charlotte would take you through a demo similar to what you've just seen, but it would be specific to the processes that you've already deployed. So like I mentioned, I'll circle back with you. I'm assuming that there aren't any other questions, so I just wanted to take this opportunity to thank Bill Battershell. Bill, thank you very much for being part of this. I know you took a lot of time out of your day, and you probably had some better things to do, more demanding things to do than this, but we really appreciate your sharing your story with all of our attendees. So thanks very much, Bill.
Yeah, you're very welcome.
And Charlotte, thank you very much. And if there are no more questions, I will call the meeting to adjourn. Great. Well, thank you very, very much for attending, and we'll look forward to following up with you next week. Take care, everybody.